Did President Trump just hand Democrats a big gift for the midterms? As if escalating frustration over spiking gas prices and a souring economy aren't enough, here he is making clear what are not on his list of priorities.
We can't take care of daycare. We're a big country. We have 50 states. We have all these other people. We're fighting wars. We can't take care of daycare. It's not possible for us to take care of daycare. Medicaid, Medicare, all these individual things, they can do it on a state basis. You can't do it on a federal. We have to take care of one thing, military protection. We have to guard the country. But all these little things, all these little scams that have taken place, you have to let states take care of them.
Those remarks came at a White House event yesterday that was closed to the press, but video of it was briefly posted to the White House YouTube channel before it was taken down. Too late, though. It was already downloaded by a journalist for Business Insider who posted it to X. Joining us now, Maya Rupert, who served as senior advisor for the Elizabeth Warren campaign and former campaign manager for Julian Castro. Okay, Maya, so midterms are approaching. I don't know if you knew that. Will we be seeing Trump calling daycare, Medicare, Medicaid a scam in more than a few political ads?
It's got to be absolutely everywhere. I mean, I think someone should call and make sure that the president hasn't given Democrats an in-kind donation that would need to be reported. It's going to be that will be in everyone's ad. It will be on everyone's lips, because what he just did was to give away the whole store. When Donald Trump was running, he ran on affordability, he ran on lowering costs, and he ran on an end to forever wars. Now he's saying the federal government can't do anything to make anyone's lives better. All it can do is enter into wars with no end in sight, no benchmarks to tell people when the war is actually going to end. That's what he's concerned about. And he called daycare, healthcare, the things that our families are struggling with, the things that are bankrupting people. He called them little things, and he called them a scam. And that, as far as I'm concerned, is what every Democrat should be running on, and is what every Republican is going to need to run from. And that's the interesting, I think, part of the story. How are Republicans going to try to situate themselves? Are they going to be honest and try to, win their elections, or are they going to keep kowtowing to Trump, let him say whatever he wants to say, and sink all of them?
Well, that's the key question, right? Because I say this all the time. The most reliable voters are older voters for whom Medicare and Medicaid might make a little bit of difference, and who might also have grandchildren and care about whether or not they have daycare. Having said that, right, there's also a contrast, right? You've got Trump's priorities, what seem to be his priorities besides the war, a gilded ballroom, a huge gold statue of himself in a skyscraper presidential library with his name and lights. Are they really no more than fodder for SNL or late night talk? Or is this contrast a real problem for Republicans?
I think it's a huge problem. I think taking it outside of the, gilded ballroom, whatever else, right? What it's doing, it's showing priorities, right? That's when he is saying this other stuff, these are small things, the things that matter in individual people's lives, in families' lives, when those become small. But he's spending his time and energy and tax dollars on the things that very clearly showcase his priorities. And they are so self-focused, they are so self-centered, and they are so much about his own legacy at the expense of the American people. I think that is, the SNL jokes write themselves, but the other thing that writes itself is it's the response to that, right? And so I think, again, a lot of Republicans are running right now, trying desperately to win Donald Trump's endorsement and hope that he can continue to, to bring some of them to victory. Every single reporter and every single competitor against those people should be asking, where are your priorities? Do you think the president should be spending money on this when gas prices are what they are, when grocery prices are what they are, and now we're in another war with absolutely no end in sight? People should have to answer for that, because you should not be allowed to say his priorities are one thing, but then show us what they are by the way he spends.
Maya Rupert, always good to see you. Thank you.
Really good to see you.